Hey Fiberista, welcome. It's Stacy Budge Camison with UrbanGypZ, and today I'm going to talk about time management. Somebody here not too long ago had posted a question saying, it looks like that I do art all the time and wondering how I manage my time to be able to do just that. So today I'm going to share with you some of that information. All right. Things are buzzing. Hold on. Okay. So first, let me just kind of point out that social media can kind of give the perception that I'm making art all the time. And that's because it's more interesting for me to post my art projects than it is for me to post what really goes on behind the scenes. Because I'll tell you, having an online business means that I spend anywhere between 50 to sometimes 75, 80% of my time doing online marketing. So a lot of that, especially if I'm doing like those, my online classes, when I'm building classes, I'm spending all of my time building that stuff, building promotions, doing stuff like that. But that being said, excuse me, that being said, what you see a lot of times is art that I've done cumulatively over the year. Like some of the pieces I might share might be a couple of years old, or it might be something that's a work in progress and something I haven't shared before, or it might be something that had been sitting for about a year and I finally finished it and had shared it with you guys as I got the last details. For example, the piece with the clay body and the dress, that sat for about a year before I put that dress on and finished the details up on that. So it's kind of a little deceptive that I'm not really doing art all the time, but what I promote for the most part is the art that I have. And for me, that kind of helps me see kind of my body of work when I kind of am presenting it. So there's that. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about finding time to make art. All right. So that being said, I think there's this misconception that artists are making art all the time. I mean, I think it's true to say that they're thinking about art a lot, but when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, I think that they don't spend as much time making art. Like they're not doing it 24/7. Maybe they are doing it every day in the form of sketching, in the form of actually doing their work. But for the most part, to kind of make art, you have to gather inspiration. And inspiration comes from just living your life. All right, so that being said, here's some tips about making more art. The first tip I want to give you guys is, sometimes I know for me, when I make art, if I don't have a dedicated space or a way to set up real easily, then it's not going to get done. I mean, straight up. I mean, when we were living in the condos while we were selling our house, I didn't really have a good art space. So a lot of art didn't get done during that time. But, having a dedicated studio is one thing, but at the same time, that's easy for me to do because I'm a full-time artist. But it could be as simple as just having something portable, right? Like knitters, right? A lot of you guys who follow me were knitters at some point. And knitting's pretty portable. So it's easy. I mean, it's a lot easier to take a sock project out on the go than it is for a big blanket project. Well, that could hold true for like your weaving as well. Like I don't get on the big loom as much like during the weekend, because that's the time I want to spend with my husband. But I might use my little loom, and that's why I love those little Ashford samplet looms, is because I can pick that up and go anywhere with it. I can take it with me with just a small sampling of yarn. I have a gigantic bag that it fits in, but it's a bag that's easy to carry around. So I can take it upstairs and, we can watch a movie on Netflix and do that while, and hang out together. So yeah, making sure that there's nothing that's going to stand in the way, because I tell you, I know how it is. If you're procrastinating on dealing with the art, then it's a lot harder to get down to it if you don't have a really easy setup to get to, or something portable to make it easy to get set up. So set that up, either get your little loom out, or get your little felting situation, or even maybe a drop spindle where you can work on some stuff just to get going on some art. There's going to be times that you're going to want to work on your bigger projects, but if it's a matter of you feel like you're not spending a lot of time in art, then back it up a little bit. Look at your setup. Is it easy for you to sit down and do it? Is everything you need in one place to where you can just, that's not going to be a stopping point? Or maybe a portable setup would be easy for you. All right, the second tip that I have for you guys, and this is going to sound like a little bit of overkill, but I promise you this works. Start thinking of your art like actual projects, like project management. I literally use project management software to plan out my projects. I know that's not very creative sounding. It really is. But I tell you, it makes a difference. And what I use is a program called Asana. And you guys may know this from, you may use it for your work or your business or whatever. Trello's another good one, and it was a toss-up between using Trello or Asana. But I kind of tended to go towards Asana. But both programs are really good, and they do the same type of thing. They kind of help you take those projects and break it up into tasks. And that may help you see your art projects as something not so overwhelming. It also is a good way, if you come up with some ideas like through your sketchbook and a project you want to tackle, it's a nice way to kind of plan that out and put that into the kitty, into the queue, and not lose track of it. So yeah, like I said, I know it sounds like overkill, but I promise it's a really good way to start. Anyway, I want to stop and say hi to you guys who are joining me. Hi, Marilyn, Epiphany London, and Sherry. Hi, thanks for joining. Okay, so back to project management. So yeah, and the one thing that also helps me is if the project management software has a calendar tied into it, because literally, if you're finding you're not finding the time in the week to do that, then freaking schedule it in. Even if it's just 30 minutes, it doesn't have to be a full afternoon. It only has to be a little bit. It's kind of like, okay, if you have your knitting, right, you can get a few rows of knitting in during watching a comedy show, a 30-minute comedy show. So do the same. I mean, if you can schedule in some time, and it doesn't have to be that much, then that's going to help cumulatively get that art underway. And also, and look in terms of your long-term goals. I mean, when you're setting up your project, what do you want to do for like the year? Do you want to do project management? Yeah, thank you, Kathy. Yeah, I know it's kind of counterintuitive, but if you're really wanting to make art, then use your project management software. But yeah, look in terms of your long-term goals. So, like, say through the end of the year, right? We're halfway through the year. We're about to go into the second half of the year. So in the next 6 months, what do you want to do? Do you want to have three pieces of fiber art done and ready to go, something that you can take a picture of and be proud of? Or do you need to make Christmas gifts? Now's a really good time to plan that out. And you know what? I'm going to put a link down below because I do, from a couple of years ago, I have a Christmas gift planner that I posted on the blog, and I'll put a link in the show notes on that, because now's a really good time to plan those gifts. So make a plan and then schedule it into your project management on what you want to make for them. Do you want to make a bunch of little woven pouches? Like, look at this. And I'll put a link to this below too. I mean, this is just a little piece of weaving that I did on that samplet loom, and I made this little zippered pouch out of that. I mean, how cute would that be for people on to gift? I'm going to put the link in the show notes on, because it's a picture post, a wordless post on how to make this pouch. Anyway, so I mean, so say you want to make a bunch of those for gifts. So get your calendar, get your project management software, and schedule it out, and set a long-term goal, and that if that's going to help you in the short term make some art. I hope that makes sense. All right. I also want to point out, like I said before, it's okay to not be making art all the time. I mean, I know a lot of people find themselves in that scary place where if they're not making art, then they feel like they're not really artists. And it's not so much that. Sometimes, like I said, you have to live your life to gather your inspirations. And you also, you know, art is a visual language. It's your interpretation of what's going on with you. It's creating something visually. And I know that people think that, oh, I'm just knitting something, but it's there's a lot to be said for textiles when it comes to art. And if you think in terms historically of art, a lot of things that we learned in art history were actually textiles. Now, that's not to say that your sweater is going to be, you know, a historic artifact, but it is a marker of your it is a marker of visual language, which is a representation of you living in this time. I know it's big. That's big shoes to fill, but just in general, don't think that you have to be making art all the time. That a lot of time your subconscious is actually working in the background, and when you sit down to make art, then it's gonna be there. But if you feel that you're kind of getting stuck in that place where you're not actually making, then here's what I like to do. I like to back up and not focus so much on the big projects in my project management. In that same project management, I might have like all the mundane tasks that I can do that work towards making art. Like maybe I might go and dye some fiber, random colors that I like, because I'm going to use it down the line in the yarn that's going to end up in the weaving. Or maybe it's that I, you know, get the yarn pulled together into some projects, you know, that I want to do to make some warps. Or maybe I might wind, you know, a couple of warps in advance. Not really sure what those projects are going to be, but with that in mind, I might end up going back to my sketchbook and coming up with some ideas for some pieces. So keep a list of some mundane tasks, and if you feel that you just are not in the art and you feel that it's been too long since you've actually gotten to the art, then go back and work on those mundane tasks, because sometimes doing the busy work that will lead to the more creative stuff kind of gets your brain going into that creative space, and you might start really diving into the art again. All right. And the last tip that I've got for you is, if none of that works and you're still feeling like you're not making the art, then go out and find the inspirations in the galleries, go take a walk in nature, or places like the Fiber Art Collective. I mean, and I have a link in the show notes on getting involved in the Fiber Art Collective. Now, I get inspired by these people. It's a Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group. It's free to join. And people are sharing their ideas and encouragement. And there's also a lot of questions. Like if you have questions about, you know, your piece or want some feedback, then that's a great place to go. But otherwise, I mean, like I said, I find inspiration by so many people in that group, and it's all different levels. I mean, I find inspiration even in the people who are just starting out, because some of those creative ideas are just so raw and honest and wonderful. So join the collective. I'm putting the link in the show notes if you're not already in the collective. And otherwise, you know, go to a gallery. Go to a gallery and hang out with groups that are where you would like to be. Like, I might go to a gallery in downtown Raleigh that has some artists who are just kind of where I wish I was, showing a little publicly in a regional sense, and just kind of be around the type of art and the type of things that you would like to aspire to be. So, and those are my tips. That's what I got for you today. All right. So I'm going to look and see if there's any questions. And like I said, I'm going to put all of those. I have some of those notes already lined up in the show notes, but I'm going to add, I think, those 2 blog posts that I had mentioned as well. So, also, I also wanted to mention that I've got a membership program that I'm putting together, and it's going to be kind of an art mentorship program, and it's kind of similar to the collective, but a little more hands-on. I'm still working out the details, but it's one of those things where if you really want to dive into building up your body of work or, kind of advancing your art, this is going to be a little more hands-on private group. So anyway, there's a link in the show notes on signing up to give information for when that is happening. I think it's going to be happening towards the end of this summer. So just kind of sign up and get on the information list, and I'll let you guys know more about when that's going to happen. All right, here's a question. I'm going to ask the question, and this is really good, especially helping me see that I'm really doing as many of these things and then I really can call myself an artist. Yes, Karen, yay, yay, yes. So I'm glad that, yes. I think you asked that question here on YouTube, so thank you for that question, because I know that a lot of people feel that way, that if they're not making art all the time, then they're not artists, and that's so not true, because you know what, if we were going by what we do, then I would be an IT person, because I spend a lot of the time on the computer dealing with social media stuff. So anyway, yeah. And to be perfectly honest, my big loom, I haven't sat down at my big loom in several months. I mean, I've done, I guess when we got back from my nephew's wedding, I was in the thick of building classes. And I took this month to kind of deal, I had a family visit last week and dealing with kind of getting my bearings on some of the behind the scenes promotional stuff. I've been working on things like advertising. Who knew? Anyway, so yeah, definitely. You're an artist. You're an artist. There it is. This week I made some dreads, dyed some fabric for an ongoing project, bought a skein of yarn at the thrift shop and volunteered and got a lot of spinning done on my wheel. That's a lot, Karen. Jeez, yeah. That's all good. That's all good. The Collective is a wonderful group. Yes, thank you, Sherry. Yes, the Collective is an awesome group. It's so awesome, and it's worldwide. Let me tell you, it's worldwide. You have inspirations from so many cultures and so many points of view. It's just, it blows my mind every day. It truly, I'm going to cry. I'm so verklempt at how inspirational everybody is. Oh my God, I'm going to cry. Okay, I'm stopping. Okay, sorry. No project's finished, but it's all art. Yeah, you know what? I get it. And sometimes those projects need to finish in their own time, because sometimes it's just not the right time. I get it. Yeah. So love the pouch. Oh, good. I'm glad you love the pouch. Yeah, the pouch is great. And let me tell you what the pouch is really good for is if you start out on some weaving and you get and you get to like just a small little bit of it and you're thinking, oh, I don't know if I like this. Cut it off the loom or stop it and start the next piece, because it's going to be an awesome pouch. That's what these are great. Even if you just did one side and some crazy art weaving, and the back side would just be like, a heavy canvas or denim or even just regular old muslin, I suppose. You can make some really cool pouches, but it's in there. They sew up so fast. I think I got this pulled together in maybe 30 minutes. I mean, it took no time. So, anyway. All right, let's see what else we got. Creative project managed software. You know what? And I think there's a way, and there might not be. If there's a way for me to share my Asana project management board, or because I have a board where I list the different projects and it has the different steps. I'll share that. So if I'm able to do it. If I am able to do it, I'll post it in the show notes. So that's what I got for you guys. Any other questions? It's wonderful to have a positive group. So many are negative and nasty. Yeah, I agree. You know, it's true. There are a lot of groups, and I think, I don't know. I feel like it's just an insecurity of for people. I mean, there's also, I mean, especially in the fiber art community, there's a lot of traditionalists, and there's a lot to be said for the traditions of fiber art, and learning to spin the perfect yarn, and knowing how to weave in a certain way. But art's not made when you're following the rules. I mean, you break the rules to make innovation. And I think a lot of people who spend a lot of time perfecting their the way they do things as far as the traditional fiber arts go, I think that when you start breaking the rules, it makes them a little nervous. So, but it's all good. I think there's a place for every bit of it, and not everybody's going to like what you do, and that's the one thing on the Fiber Art Collective. I have a strict no snark rule, because you're not going to like everything you see. But it's everybody has their own language, and I think everybody has a right to express themselves artistically in the way they see fit. So, and that's what I want. I wanted to build a community of people who are encouraging each other. Can I have the bag? One question. No, but I will tell you how to make your own. Yeah, I love this bag. But I will tell you how to make your own. And actually, this technique is going to be the next Beyond the Basics class. So it's real easy, and I learned another version of this technique. So, and it's going to be a down and dirty, cheapy, quickie class. So there you have it. I don't have confidence in sewing together or finishing woven bags or pouches since I don't sew much. I get it. Maybe it's I show you some little hand sewing stuff, because this was just a quick run on the machines. But you want that one. No, this is my bag. All right. So that's what I got, and I'm going to sign off, and I will talk to you guys next week. Good evening from Greece. I usually miss the live chat, but today I'm so happy to be here. Very nice bag. Thank you, Anastasia, and I'm glad you're joining us. I'm glad that you caught us in Greece. So what time is it in Greece? Is it like, I'm trying to think. I don't think I would know. You're maybe 8 hours ahead of us, so it would be, it'd be almost maybe 11 or midnight, 10, 11, midnight. I'm not sure. Anyway, but thank you, and I'm glad you like the bag. I see you, Marilyn. All right, so that's all I have for you guys. And if there aren't any more questions, I'm going to wait for a minute and see. And I will otherwise be signing off. Let's see if there's anything else. I think I covered everything. The mentorship, the Fiber Art Collective, membership, and that's all I got. All right, I'm not seeing any more questions, so I'm going to sign off. Thanks for joining, and I will talk to you guys next week. Talk to you later. Bye.